the first year, my job was really building the labs, finishing it literally. It was talking to architects, the building maintenance team, IT, external companies, making sure that everything would be set for the labs. And I mean, the ATC was also opening a year later in March 2010, and making sure that everything would be set, that we could actually start doing what we were supposed to do. And there were funny things that you wouldn't have expected, like, for instance, the doors that were put in there for the labs being like tiny office doors. And you go and ask the architect, so how are we going to fit -80 in there? Yeah. So you really had to like break down walls, put in pipes for the distilled water and things like this. So that
it's
was
still a lab.
Yes.
It has to be a lab.
It has to be a lab, right? It has to function, because we're going to be doing practical courses there. That was experience that I didn't have, right? So like building labs. So it was learning on the job, but it was also the time where I had a lot of positive experiences at EMBL. Everyone was super helpful. All the departments, I never had a no, or if you had a problem, people would come and find a solution for it. So it was really like this joint effort, and what also the scientists always report, this collaborative spirit that you would find also throughout the administration and all the teams that were involved in this.
Did you get involved also in, imagining and developing courses? I mean, the practical activities, the scientific experiments?
Yes, that was also something that was very nice for me, because so once, the building part was done, so that was for phase 1, building, and then phase 2 was developing the courses program. So coming up with new top-notch courses, having the latest techniques in our program was part of my job. And I did a lot, of course, with the support of the scientists, but then also sometimes there were topics that I thought, oh, this would be nice to have. We don't cover this in our program, like single cell techniques or things that were not as established at EMBL yet. And I had the freedom to also just reach out to experts outside of EMBL and to bring these courses here. And since there was a time also where we didn't have a technician, we had to then recruit a technician for the training labs. I ended up doing cell culture. I ended up also teaching in the metagenomics course in the practical part, because I had some experience with the techniques there, the DNA extraction, etc. So that was quite exciting. It was a really diverse job that I had there. During my time at EMBL, we were involved in let's say, in an NGO that was EMBL-based. So it's not, it doesn't belong to EMBL, but it was started by a postdoc from EMBL, Emmanuel Reynaud, and he started this NGO in 2004, if I recall it correctly, and it was basically to sustain scientific research in underdeveloped countries, right? He was someone who was very, very engaged in that. And when I came in 2009 and I heard about this initiative, I got involved. I said, I want to help however I can. And the aim was to really transfer knowledge to, this fellow colleagues, scientists, researchers in these countries, and to provide them knowledge, but also wherever possible equipment, because they lack everything, and sometimes they really work with very basic equipment. And EMBL, but not only other research institutes, they often have, let's say, obsolete equipment, which is stored somewhere and the groups are not going to use it anymore because either the research focus changed or there is a new machine. And 2010, when Emmanuel left, he asked me whether I would like to keep this initiative alive, so I did. Initially with a girl who was also doing her PhD at the DKFZ. And yeah, we managed to ship a lot of equipment to different countries, to different groups that were in need, you know, that approached us and asked us because they had heard. We never did publicity for it because we knew that as soon as we would announce it, we would get probably overwhelmed with the amount of applications. So it was more like a word of mouth thing that people would say, oh, I know, you know, someone from that institute, they said they received equipment from you. We would need a PCR machine. Can you somehow help us find a PCR machine? And so we'd always ask them to write a little application. And also to make sure that, you know, you wouldn't just get flooded with applications, we would ask the people to, if possible, contribute to the shipping costs so that there is some sort of engagement from their side and they're committed to it. And throughout the years, we shipped a lot of tons of equipment. So after EMBL, first I wanted to stay with training, but to be honest, there's not a comparable place around here, right? And the sort of training that is being done in the institutes around here wasn't really appealing to me. So I'm at the time in 2018, I was pregnant, so I took a maternity leave, I took a break, and I only restarted my professional life after, actually at the end, I think it was like 2 years because Corona came and things got a bit more difficult. And then I did a bit of technology transfers and ended up now working as head of operations for a startup where we do phosphatase targeted drug development. So I support the scientific team there on site. I deal with, like I like to say, everything that is not science. And I do all the daily operations, billing.
But you're organizing labs as well? Or?
I did at the beginning. In the meantime, we are a team big enough that the lab management part, lab organization part, the scientists, they take care of it themselves. But I do a lot with grant writing as well, take care of the grants and the bills and the daily operations of the company. And it's nice because it's also interesting how the EMBL alumni community plays a role here because I got recruited by an EMBL alumni.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, so that is it's nice to see the power of the EMBL network. Yeah,
absolutely. It must be quite exciting because startups are.
Exactly.
Make it or break it kind of situation. So there's lots of energy, lots of movement, I guess.
Yes, and that's something that I enjoy in this job as well. And it's also that's something that I enjoyed during my time at EMBL is this, this feeling of everyone pulling in the same direction. We want to build up this courses program. And we're all pulling on the same string, and the same is there. We are a small team, but we're all pulling in the same direction because we want to make it happen. We want our startup to be successful, and it's a nice environment. And maybe because the site head is an EMBL alumnus, we are very international. We have, I need to count, with at least 10, 12 different nationalities, and we're only a team of 16.
Okay.
So it's quite diverse, and it has a bit of this EMBL spirit in the company. Sure, it's different. There's more pressure because it's like you said, it's make it or break it. But it's still a very nice place to work.